Namaste, beautiful mums to be. Welcome to our prenatal morning yoga flow. So this morning yoga flow is wonderful for building some energy within. Maybe you've woken up with some aches and pains as well, so it's going to be lovely for stretching out some of those. But of course, if it's a very tiring morning for you, maybe you haven't slept well, perhaps try my restorative flow or something different. So we're going to begin in a nice tabletop position. So hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. Get yourself nice and comfortable. Keep a nice neutral spine. And now let's externally rotate our fingers. So our fingers are facing our knees. And from here, just find a little rocking motion from side to side. Hug your baby back towards your spine, so very gently engaging that core. Breathe nice and deeply. And be really mindful about the sensations in the back of the arms here. Stretching out the back of the wrists. If you're struggling to breathe through your nose, maybe you've got a lot of congestion, then feel free to breathe through your mouth. And then walk your hands back towards your knees and send your hips a little lower towards your heels. Maybe you need to tuck your toes. You can take your knees a little wider if you need to make space for your baby bump. So stretching out the back of those hands. Take a couple of deep breaths here. And gently release those hands. Now take the back of the palms, the front of the palms down to the ground this time. And find a little rocking motion. Be really, really gentle. Don't force anything here. Just stretching out the top of the hands now. You can find a little rocking motion back and forth. You can close your eyes. Hug your baby back towards your spine. And then release. Come on back onto the heels. Give your hands a little shake. Exhale out the mouth. Once again, take a nice deep inhale. Exhale out the mouth. And then back to all fours. On our all fours, let's take some cat-cows. So you can inhale and gently drop the belly, not too much, and look up. Exhale, arch, pushing those shoulder blades apart, sucking baby back towards your spine. Inhale, dropping the belly ever so slightly. Exhale, arch. 2 more, inhale. Exhale. 1 more, inhale. And exhale. Come back to a neutral spine and start to wag your tail. So look back towards your right hip and then wag over to the other side, looking towards the left hip. Find a little bit of fluid movement, stretching out the side body nice and gently. You can take your wag as fast or as slow as you like. Really try to look back at your hip or even at the toes of that leg. Take a couple more. Now hold it here on the right side. Look at the right toes or the right hip. Just for a couple of deep breaths. And then over to the left. Now extend your hands forward, coming down for our puppy pose. Bringing the forehead down to the ground. Keeping your elbows lifted off the ground. Really extend through the arms. Keeping your spine nice and long.
Breathe into this. On every exhale, hug your baby back towards your spine, engaging through the core and lifting up through the pelvic floor. Bring yourself up, walk your hands a little closer towards your body. We're going to send it up and back to downward facing dog. Send your hips up to the sky. Now, depending on where you are in your pregnancy, you might need to take your legs wider than the mat, or as wide as the mat. I'm in my 3rd trimester now, 35 weeks, so I need to make space for my baby. That bump has got a bit bigger, so my feet are wider than my hips. Keeping your hands around shoulder distance apart. Don't worry if your heels aren't touching the ground or if you can't straighten your legs. Just make sure you're as comfortable as possible. You can always bend the legs as much as needed. Extending through that spine. Hug your baby back towards your spine. Take 3 deep breaths here. And then take perhaps a very ungraceful walk to the front of the mat. Don't worry about how you look. Just get to the front of the mat any way that's possible for you. And once again, make space for that bump. So we're going to take a forward fold. Take your legs as wide as you need to. Wider than the mat, maybe even more. Holding onto each elbow, just hanging heavy like a rag doll. Keep your spine nice and long and just become heavy. You may like to find a little movement here, maybe gently rocking from side to side. Maybe a bit of back and forth as well, just whatever feels good. Maybe you want to stay still, it's totally your choice. You can bend your legs as much as you need to, but make sure that your neck is heavy, your shoulders away from your ears, giving into gravity, releasing through these hamstrings. Exhale. Inhale, take your hands at the top of your feet, your shins or your thighs, in for a halfway lift. Exhaling, folding. Inhaling, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. Take your fingertips down to the ground and just heel toe your feet so that they come hip distance apart. And we're going to send it back for chair pose. So send your bum down towards the ground as if you're going to sit back into a sofa. Tucking the tailbone, taking the tailbone down to the ground. Hands up to the sky or to your heart center. Hold this. Try to keep your legs in line with your hips. Don't allow the knees to fall open. Knees must not exceed the toes. And inhale, hands to the sky, look up. Exhaling them to the side of the body. Take a couple of neck rolls here. Rolling from side to side. Now for a little challenge. Send all your weight onto your right leg. Hands to your heart center. Inhale, left leg. Either just a 90-degree angle to the ground, or you can take it a step further and extend through that leg. Take a breath and then gently send that leg back behind you. Don't worry if you lose your balance. You can always take this to a wall And very, very, very slowly coming back for warrior 3, extending that back leg out long behind you. And then gently take a big step back into a high lunge, sending the hips nice and forward, bending into that front leg. Hips are squared, front leg at around a 90-degree angle to the mat. Hands on your hips or at your heart center. Take a deep breath. Now inhale, open up to warrior 2. Extending through the arms, opening up through the hips, pushing that right knee open. The back toes and heel is all down on the ground, about a 45-degree angle to the back of the mat. Open up beyond the fingertips and look beyond these right fingertips. Hold it just for a nice deep breath. Now bring this right arm down to the right knee and inhale, lift the left arm up and over your ear. Inhaling back to warrior 2, look beyond the right fingertips and back into high lunge. Make your way there. Back heel lifts off the ground, hips are squared once again. You can take your hands to the sky, heart center, all the hips. Now bring your hands on the inside edge of this right foot, so heel toe the right foot to the outside edge of the mat and very gently bringing the left leg down to the ground, sending our hips forward in for our low lunge. Stretching out the psoas muscle here on the left side. Hold it for one more deep breath. And then send the hips back, extending through this right leg so the right leg is nice and straight. Send the toes up to the sky, just getting a little deeper into that hamstring. And release, coming back into our low lunge. And send these right toes back behind you, back into your tabletop position. Now extend your legs back behind you. Bring your knees together, sending the hips a little forward for a plank variation. So we're not doing plank because we're pregnant, especially if you've got a big bump now. Hold this just for a deep breath. Suck your baby back towards your spine. Knees on the ground. And then back into our downward facing dog. Take your feet as wide as the mat or wider, depending on where you are. Maybe find a little rocking with the hips, moving the hips slightly from side to side. Just hold your down dog for one more deep breath here. And then take that slow walk back to the front of the mat, very disgracefully. Feet as wide as you need them to be. This time we're going to interlace our fingertips, take them behind your back, interlace them, and then allow your body to fall into your forward fold and your arms to fall up and over your head. Bend your knees as generously as you need to. Stretching through the chest and the back of the hamstrings. Given to gravity, become heavy. The closer those palms are together, the more intense the stretch will be. So you can always allow them to open up. Or if this is uncomfortable, just take your ragdoll arms like we did the first time. I'm here as a guide, but let your body guide you. So wherever you are, if you've got your fingertips interlaced, very gently release them. Inhaling, halfway lift, look up. Exhale, fold. 2 more times. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. 1 more time. Inhaling, looking up. Exhaling, folding. Fingertips to the ground, heel toe your feet so that they're hip distance apart. Sending it back for our chair pose. Tucking that tailbone. Make sure you can still see your big toes, your knees are not exceeding them. Hands to the sky or to your heart center or even to your thighs. Take 1 more deep inhale. Exhale, release. And inhale up to mountain pose. Inhaling the hands to the sky. And exhaling them to the side body. Releasing the neck. Taking a couple of little neck rolls here. Rolling from side to side. Take 1 more little roll here. Back to center, roll your shoulders back and down. Send the weight into this left leg and lift up through the right. Look at something that isn't moving. You can keep your leg just like this, 90-degree angle. Or take an extra challenge and try to straighten it just for a breath. And exhale, let's send this leg back behind us, tilting the body forward for our warrior 3. Extending that right leg out long behind us. Hold it just for a breath. And gently, gently send it back down to the mat. Coming in for our high lunge. Bending in through this left leg. Hips are squared facing forwards. Engaging through the back knee. The back heel is lifted. Hands on your hips, heart center, or to the sky. Totally up to you and to how your body is feeling. Sometimes lifting our hands to the sky while we're pregnant actually feel too much tension in our abs. They've already got a lot of pressure, so just listen to that. If you're feeling pressure in the abs, then just take the easier variation. Look straight ahead, take 1 more deep breath. And open up to warrior 2. So back foot 90-degree angle or 45-degree angle to the back of the mat, heel down, sink low into this left leg, opening up through the hips. Extend the arms out long and look beyond these left fingertips. Hold your warrior just for another deep breath. Taking the left forearm down to the left knee, inhaling the right arm up and over your ear, look to the sky, extending through the body. And then inhale back to warrior 2. Now make your way to high lunge as best you can. You might need to step a little further forward, sending your bend into this left leg, back to high lunge. Now, as mindfully as you possibly can, Bring your fingertips down to the mat and heel toe this left leg all the way to the outer edge of the mat, and very gently bringing that back knee down to the ground. Back in for our low lunge, sending the hips low, giving into gravity. Just breathe here. And then send the hips back behind you, extending through this left leg, keeping it nice and long, sending the toes up to the sky so you're engaging through the foot. Hold that for a couple of deep breaths. And inhale back into our low lunge, sending the hips forward, sinking them low. Now plant the hands and take this left leg as mindfully as you can to meet the right, bringing the knees together and once again rolling forward into a modified plank. Hug your baby back towards your spine so you're really lifting up through the core. Squeeze your glutes and then send your tailbone back towards your feet. Now find a comfortable seat, any seat of your choice, cross-legged preferably. Sit up tall through the spine. Let's find some side waves. So we're going to take our left fingertips over to the left side and inhale our right arm up and over the ear, stretching through the right side of the body. And then wave over towards the right side, inhaling the left arm up and over the ear. Go as deep as you want or stay up nice and tall. Keep finding this wave, take it in your own time, just waving from side to side. Releasing through the lower spine, through the hips, tilting the chest slightly towards the sky as you take your bend. Couple more. Back to center, change the position of your legs. We're going to take a very gentle twist. So taking this left hand to the right knee, and our right hand behind us. Just look over towards the right side. You're not forcing the body at all. One more deep breath. And then inhale your hands to the sky, look up. Open up your chest, send your chest opening up the ribs, up to the sky. Exhaling, arching the spine, suck your baby back towards your lower back, pushing your hands away from your body. Inhaling up once again. And let's take the twist over to the other side. Take our right hand to our left knee, looking over towards the left side. You're not forcing anything here. Just a very, very gentle, passive twist. And back to center. So stay in your comfortable seat. We're going to do a couple of belly breaths together. Let's take 5 together before we end our class. So we're going to, on the inhale, expand our bellies like a balloon. I know it feels like a balloon already, but even more. Releasing through the pelvic floor so everything relaxes and expands. On the exhale, you're hugging your baby back towards your spine and you're going to be sucking your belly button back to the spine. Imagine someone's got a drawstring and they're pulling your belly button back. At the same time, you're going to lift up through the pelvic floor,
as you exhale. So imagine that you're sucking the earth up through your pelvic floor on the exhale and pulling your belly button back, hugging your baby. Okay, so let's do one together. Inhale, release and expand. Exhale, engaging the belly, lifting up through the pelvic floor. Take 5 in your own time. Hands on your belly if you want to. It might just help you feel it out. Take one more deep breath, expanding, exhale, contracting, lifting up through the pelvic floor. And release, keep your eyes closed. Take your hands to your knees or keep them on your baby. Just return back to a normal, natural breath. Don't force anything. Tuning into your body. Taking note of how it feels right now compared to how it did when you began the class. Release your shoulders down. Relax your facial muscles. You can stay here and meditate as long as you like, or you can end your practice with me. With your eyes closed, just find a little gentle wave of the spine, just gently waving from side to side. And take a little roll all the way to the right side, so you're just rolling forward like a little coffee grinder, and then roll to the left side, back to center. Take your hands to your heart center and prayer. Bow your head down to your palms. Thank you for showing up on the mat today. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments. Namaste, mamas. You can open your eyes. I really do hope you've enjoyed it. Feel free to find me on my other platforms. I'm on Instagram and Facebook. Just look for YogaCandi and you'll find me. Until next time, mums, have a lovely time. I wish you a very healthy and happy pregnancy. Please keep me up to date on how you're doing, and I'd absolutely love to hear from you on social media if you can find me. So until next time, namaste.